Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we are making this nice and fun shrug, bolero, however you want to call this, but this is something that is going to be very nice to just put on top of your t-shirts or your long sleeve light sweaters, something like that. Is very meshy. I'm using cotton yarn to do this, and as you can see, it's very nice and fluffy. It's very comfortable, it's very soft. And I'm using these colors, but of course you can use any colors of your choice. But what I will do now is I will go ahead and grab, and the other way is you can wear these two different ways. So you can either have this as your over the shoulders with your head coming through here, or you can flip it like this, where you can then have this side here be over your shoulders, and then you will have this nice V neckline on the front and in the back as well. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the materials. Please go ahead and grab yours as well, and then we'll talk about the materials before we get started. Okay, my lovelies, so before we get started with this project, I'm gonna show you all the materials that I'm gonna be using for mine. And as you can see, I have my 4 colors that I'm gonna be using here. These two are they're all from Hobby, but these two are Cotton Kings, and then these two are Rainbow. So I'm gonna just talk a little bit about the yarn. So this one here is Rainbow. It's 100% printed cotton. And what else? It's color number 23. Okay, and I don't know if you need to know this, but color lot is 4023. And this skein here is 50 grams or 1.76 ounces or 170 meters or 186 yards. Okay, and the recommended hook size for this yarn is 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and this is a fine weight number 2. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using here, and this is exact same details as this, except this one, the only difference is the color number is 24. So this is, I think, 23, this is 24, and then color lot number is 4022. Okay, and then these ones are the ones that I said they're from Cotton King, and the color number for this is 25 or lot 160. Okay, and then what else here? So the measurements here are pretty much almost the same as the other one, but the recommended hook size for this one is 3 millimeter crochet hook, but I'm going to be using the same size. And then of course the details of this is the same as this, and the color here is 02, and then lot 160 still. Okay, all right, so that is all about the yarn. Hook size, I'm going to be using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, so this recommended for these two, but this one is 3, but I'm using a 3.5. Okay, I have my scissors here to be able to cut my yarn. Okay, I have a darning needle, a stitching needle, so that I can use that to join my panels. I've begun to use these stitch markers here. They're just pins, like hair pins, that I think I prefer a lot better than the other markers that I have. I think these ones just tend to stay in place, and since this area here is not like sharp or anything, it actually doesn't pull your yarn or anything like that. So I've begun to use this for the last few projects that I've been doing, just because I think I prefer them better. Anyways, and then I have my tape measure here if you want to determine the size of your project. Okay, so that is everything I have, and as I always say, you can use any color that you want. You can use any size of hook that you're comfortable with or what is recommended for your yarn, but this is what I have, because I also do measure to fit for my projects. I don't tell you you must do this many chains to get this size or this many rows to get this size. We always measure. My project are always to measure to fit. So in that case, you can pretty much almost use any yarn as long as you use your measuring tape to determine your size or the size of person that you're making it for. All right, well, that's a lot of talking. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so I'm just about to start here, so I just quickly wanted to show you how I'm going to put the orders of these colors. So I have decided that I'm going to begin by doing my project with this color here, but I have this so that I can actually just put a few rows of it between these 3 colors. So I will finish this whole skein here by doing one, completing this, and then I will do maybe 2 to 3 or 4 rows of the white here. Then I will do the green, completely finish it, and then I'll do another couple of rows that matches the number of rows that I would have done here in between here, and then I'll finish my project with this. Okay, so this is why I just came back to say this is gonna be the order of the colors that I'm doing, except I will be doing a couple of rows in between them of this white color. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna put these guys away, and then we can go ahead and actually get started. So I already have my yarn prepped in my hand here. Okay, this is just, I'm gonna pull these out. Okay, and at this point of the project, you're going to want to determine the size that you're looking for. So if you're doing this for someone or yourself, what I would suggest is using your tape measure and measure from the top of your shoulder, dropping it up in front of your bust all the way to where you want it to land. Okay, so if you want it to cover you all the way down to your belly button, then measure to your belly button. If you want it to cover you until just below your bust, then measure to there. And then depending on how that is, you're going to be able to work your rows until you get that size. The other thing that we want to determine is the length of the project. So you're going to see how long you want it to be. For this particular project, I want it to pretty much, I want to be able to wear it both ways, as you've seen on the pictures. I want to be able to rotate it and it falls the long way in front and then my back, or I can also rotate it so that the long side falls along my arms. Okay, so with that, how long do you want it to fall along your arms? You can decide that size, and then we go ahead and do the rows, the number of stitches that matches that. Okay, all right, so for mine, I want it to kind of fall just right at my elbows, or a little bit below my elbows when I have it on the long side, like across the horizon way. And when I have it the vertical way, it can fall as long as I want it to fall, so it's not a problem there. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do a chain of 180. Okay, and that 180 is gonna be multiples of 4 until I get to 180. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start by doing my slip knot just like this. Okay, let's pull this in. Okay, and then I'm gonna start my chain of 180. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, my lovely, so I have completed my chain of 180 here. So as you can see, this is pretty much the chain here folded in two. And I measured this, it comes up to about 37 inches. Okay, so that is the length that I'm looking for based on the size or the amount of length that I want on either side. In this case here is the long side, the length. Okay, all right, so now that I have my 180 chains, I'm going to add 6 more chains, and this 6 chains is going to create the first three is going to create the 3 stitches that I want on this side, and then the other 3 will go on the end on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and so I will go ahead and count backwards. I will skip these 2 stitches here, and in the third one I'm going to yarn over and go into the back of that chain and then complete a double crochet. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to yarn over and go into the next stitch and complete a double crochet in the back of that foundation chain. And then I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that, and I'm gonna do this in every single stitch across. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and do double crochets all across the number of chains that we have here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue working on this. The other thing that I neglected to tell you guys as I was telling you the materials that I'm using for the project, it's actually, we need to do 2 panels like exactly the same. And so the amount of yarn that I had shown you guys, it's actually you need 2 of those. Okay, so you need 2 of each of those colors. In my case, I have 2 of each of the 3 colors and then just 1 of the white, because I don't need to use too much of the white, so I just have 1 of those. So altogether I have 7 skeins of yarn, which is exactly the same matching color. So 2 sets of every single one of those beside the white one. okay, because we're going to be doing 2 panels that are exactly identical. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue working on my double crochet row here, and when I get to the end, I will come back to the video so I can show you guys how to then start the next row, and that next row is going to be our repeat row for the rest of the project. Okay, so I will see you guys when you get to the end of this chain here. Okay, my lovelies, so I've got ahead and completed my row of double crochets here. So as you can see, that's all done, and I'm going to show you the second row. So for each row from this point on, we're going to be starting with a chain of 2, and that chain of 2 will count as a double crochet. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do 1, 2, then I'm going to turn. Okay, and then I'm going to go right into this stitch right here, so the next stitch that goes along with this double crochet, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a double crochet there, and then I'll go ahead and do another second double crochet right there. Okay, so with my chain 2 here and then these 2 double crochets, I have 3 double crochets at the beginning like that, and then I'm going to do a chain of 2, and I'm going to skip 2 stitches, so 1, 2. In the third stitch, I'm going to do a double crochet, and then I'll do another double crochet right beside it. Okay, in the next stitch, so like that, and then I'm going to do a chain of 2. I'm going to skip 2 stitches, and in the third stitch I'm going to do a double crochet, and then another double crochet in the next stitch after, chain 2, skip 2 double crochets, in the third do a double crochet, and then in the next do a double crochet. And then you just continue to do these all across until you get to the other side of the row. So it should look something like that. Okay, so you're gonna work yourself across the row here. When you have a few stitches left before you finish, come back to the video and I will show you how to finish off the row, and then we can go ahead and begin the second row. Okay, so I will see you guys when you get there. Okay, my lovelies, so I've worked my second row here. As you can see, I have worked it all the way across. Now I'm on the other side, and I have this many stitches left. That's why I wanted you guys to come back so I can show you how to finish these off. So I've just done my 2 double crochets here, so I'm gonna do my chain of 2, then I'm gonna skip 1, 2. In the third here, I'm gonna do my double crochet, and then I'm gonna do a double crochet in the next stitch, and then I will finish off by doing my 3rd double crochet in the final stitch. Okay, just like that. So this is why I wanted you guys to come back, because this side here matches the side that we started here, where there's a start of 3 double crochets, and then we finish off with a start at the end of 3 double crochets. Okay, and so now for the third row, I'm going to do a chain of 2, which counts as a double crochet. I turn, and then I go into the next stitch, which is this one right here, and do a double crochet, and then I finish onto the next stitch and do another double crochet. So your ends are always going to be starting or ending with 3 double crochets. Okay, and then I'll chain 2, and then I'll skip the chain 2, and then in the next stitch I will do a double crochet, and then in the next stitch I will do a double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain 2 here, go into the next stitch and do a double crochet, and then go do a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, skip the chain 2, and on top of the double crochet do a double crochet, and on top of the next double crochet do a double crochet. Oopsie. Okay, chain 2, skip the chain 2, do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, and then do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. So that's pretty much what you repeat here. So as you can see, you're creating this mesh pattern here by what we have just done. And so I'm going to repeat this again all the way to the end. So when you have a few stitches to go here, let's say after you have done your chain, these 2 double crochets here, come back to the video. I will show you how to complete this row. and then I will have you guys work the rest of it until we finish this skein. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna work each skein until I finish, and then we're gonna switch to the white, do a couple of rows in that, and then switch to the next color, and then kind of repeat what we have done here, okay? But for now, just meet me when you have a few stitches to go here at the end. Okay, my lovelies, so I've gone ahead and completed my third row here. So it's my second of the mesh and my third altogether. And as you can see, for this row, I just did my 2 double crochets right here, and then I'm going to do a chain of 2, and I'm going to skip this chain 2 spot right here, and in this stitch that aligns up to this double crochet, I'm going to do a double crochet, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. And now I have my chain 2 at the end here, that this does count as a stitch. So on top of that chain 2, I'm going to go in and complete my third double crochet. Okay, so this is how this row ends, again matching how we started at the other side right here. Okay, so now you just repeat what we just did for this row here, and you go ahead and do until you finish the skein. So for the skein that I have, I'm going to finish everything that will give me until whatever the yarn is, whenever the yarn is finished. Obviously you don't want to do have a row, but whatever yarn gives you a complete row, then you're gonna stop and you're gonna come back to the video, and I'm gonna show you how I incorporate the white into the project. So we're gonna do a few rows. I haven't decided exactly how many rows to do, but it's gonna depend on the width that you want. So after I finish this, I'm gonna measure and see how many inches just the amount of this yarn gives me. And then now I know each of these color, the 3 colors, this one, the green, the solid green, and then the other pattern one, I will see how many, and then I will decide how many rows of the white to do in between to decide the width of my project. Okay, but for now, just continue working on your project here by repeating exactly the same thing here until you have your yarn is finished, or until you decide how many rows you want to do for each of these colors. Okay, so I will see you guys when you finish that. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the first skein of a yarn, and as you can see here, this is how our project is looking so far. Okay, so now with just this much left, so this is all I have left, and it's good because I cannot do another row with it, so I'll just end it here. So what I will do is I will just undo that final stitch there, and now I have it like this, and I'll change the color, and I have decided I'm gonna do about 2 rows of the white, and then I will do the green color, the solid green, and then I'll do 2 more rows of the white, and then I will switch like that. Okay, and that's gonna give me the width that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna just cut this right here, just like that. I will put these away. Okay, and then I'll grab my white yarn, and then I'm gonna change the color, and I'm gonna do the 2 rows, and then we can change it back to the green, and then work the green until we have all the yarn finished as much as we can, and then we just kind of keep switching like that. Okay, so for me to change the color, I have my yarn, like my hook like that with the 2 loops like that, and I'm just gonna bring the white yarn and just bring it through like this. Okay, so I'll have these 2 tails hanging. I'm gonna pull them a little bit just to tighten them like that, and then I'm gonna do my chain of 2, so 1, 2, and then I'm gonna flip my work or turn, and then I'm gonna hold these 2 strings like this so it doesn't come apart, and then of course I'm gonna go in here with a double crochet, so my chain 2 counts as a double crochet, and then I will go right into the last stitch here and do a double crochet. Okay, so at the end, this is pretty much my double crochet right here, and then these 2 double crochet. That's why I have my 3, and then I will pick up and just go ahead and do my chain 2, skip the chain 2, and then on top of this double crochet I'm going to do a double crochet, and then a double crochet in the next stitch, and then chain 2, skip the chain 2, and then do a double crochet in the next stitch, and then a double crochet in the next stitch, and then I just continue these all the way to the end, just like we have been doing. Then after that, I will do a chain 2 and turn, and then do another row, just repeating exactly what we're doing here, okay? And then when that's done, we're gonna come back to the video and I'll show you how to switch back to the solid green. So just changing the color like we will do here again, and then we will work that at that time, okay? So go ahead and finish your 2 rows in this white color, and then when you have completed that, come back to the video and I will change the color to the green with you. Okay, my lovelies, so I just completed my 2 rows in the white here, and that's where I'm gonna stop. So I'm back to where we started the color here. So I'm just going to undo again, just like we did. I'm just gonna leave it so I have the 2 loops like that. I'm gonna bring in my scissors and just cut it like that. Okay, now while I still have this here, I'm just going to knot these here. So this is where we changed the color earlier. So what I usually do, because this is very meshy, so to weave it in, it's not gonna be very good looking, or it's not gonna actually hold that well. So I just do about 2 or 3 knots here between these 2, like that, and then maybe one more like that, and then there you go. And that way I secure that section. Then I'll do the same with this, and whenever I change the color, I'll continue to do the same, okay? So now we're gonna now change to the green, because that's the color I want to go with next, which is this guy here. And this is going to be now the amount of area like that. So we're gonna be working until we finish the whole yarn. So there you go. And then after that, I will go and put the 2 rows like this, and then go back and do the final color, which is this guy here. So this is gonna be the end of what I'm trying to do here, okay? So, but again, we just go here and we just bring in this color to change like this, and then chain 2. Then I'll just kind of pull it a little bit to kind of make it a little bit solid. I'm gonna turn my work, and then I'm gonna go ahead and continue to work just like we have been doing. So I'm gonna do my 3 double crochets, because my chain 2 here counts as a double crochet, and then I will continue to work the projects just like we have been doing from the beginning, okay? So this is pretty much how I'm gonna leave you guys here to be able to work the rest of the project. And depending on how big your work is, you're gonna just continue to get the width that you're looking for. So for example, here I just did this color here, so I can just determine how wide it's gonna be by simply just measuring this color here. So this color is about a little bit under 6 inches, but when I include the white, then it's about 6.5 inches, okay? So which means the green color is gonna give me about another 6 inches, and then the white 6.5 inches including the white, and then I'm gonna finally finish with the other color. So I'm not gonna border at the end with the white again, so the white should only be 2 stripes between the 3 colors, okay? So with that said, I'm probably looking at coming up to about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so about 18, maybe 18 inches altogether for the width of my project, okay? So this is the length that we already have here. So this is the length here, and then this is gonna be the width of it, okay? So you're gonna obviously do the number of rows to correspond to the width that you're looking to get, okay? All right, so I'm gonna let you guys continue to work, and then when you have finished everything, come back, because we will still have the second panel to complete. So please go ahead and come back when you finish this one. We will look at it together, and then we'll go ahead and start, or you will go ahead and do the second panel off camera, okay? I will see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed everything here. So this is one panel completed. So as you can see, this is where we began with this color here. We did our 2 rows in the white, and then we did however many rows, I actually don't remember, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 rows in the green here, and then 2 rows of that. And then I have, for some reason, there's different what do you call it, rows, because I think I have 14 in this. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. Yeah, so I have 14 in this, and the only yarn that I have left here is this much. So, and I don't think this is gonna take me across to do one more row, so this is why I'm stopping here. And I think I did 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So it seems like for this color here, it's a little bit shorter somehow. So there's 14 here, and then there's the 16 here. I think 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. So it seems like for some reason there's maybe a little bit more of this, even though in the labels it says it's the same amount of yarn. Okay, so I have stopped here. I will just do a quick measurement to see how long this actually is. So I was looking at about 18 inches to be able to get my width for the project. So let's see. We'll measure it like this. I can try to fit it on the camera for you guys to see, like this. Okay, so and if I'm off by a couple of inches, I'm not worried too much. Yeah, so if you can see here, I have about 20 inches. Okay, so this is here, and then on the other side it goes up to about 20 inches right here. Okay, so but I'm okay with that. I was aiming for 18, but I'm okay with the 20. And sometimes work too, after it kind of settles in, it can shrink a little bit, so I'm okay with that. It may actually come down to the 18 inches. Okay, all right, so now that I have finished this here, I'm gonna just cut these off. And this is also another option, I guess I wanted to explain to you guys. When you end up joining your two panels together, you can choose either to use this side to join so that this becomes your neckline area, or you can use this side. I'm going to do this side as the neckline area for me, and so I'm going to leave it like this. I'm not gonna do the solid like this at the end. But if you want to do a final row of the solid, then you would have to undo this final row and then just do double crochets across. I will show you what I mean, just in case that is what you're planning to do. Okay, so let's say that this is, I still have one more row to go, and at this point I want to do a solid row. Then I'll just do my chain 2 turn, and then I'll do my 3 double crochets here. So my chain 2 is a stitch, and then I do the 2 double crochets. But now you remember there's 2 chains here, so instead of doing the mesh, I would actually go into this gap here where the chain 2 is and do 2 rows, two double crochets, so 2 stitches. Okay, and then I would move on and do 2 double crochets on top of the 2 double crochets here. So just go along and do double crochets like usual. And then in this chain 2 gap, instead of doing a chain 2, I would actually just put in 2 double crochets there, and then I will move on and do 2 double crochets across the 2 double crochets from the previous row, and then I would go ahead and just do my 2 double crochets under the chain 2 gap. Okay, so this is what you would do if you want your row to finish with the solid row like this. If you want it to end like this, then you would end up doing this all the way to the end, and it would match the side that we started, which was the row of double crochets. Okay, but this is not what I'm planning to do. So I'm going to just end my project here, and I'm going to use this to join the work at the end. So I'm not gonna continue doing anything here, and I'm just gonna leave this yarn connected to it for now. In case there's any change of anything, maybe I'll change my mind and do something different, but for now I'm just gonna leave that like that. Okay, but this is pretty much the first panel completed. So all you will have to do is just go back and repeat everything. Okay, do the exact same number of rows you did with this, which was 180 plus 6, and then just start the work exactly the same. So do your solid row of double crochets, and then start your meshes, and then just alternate exactly the way you did the first one. And when you have both panels completed, come back to the video, and I'm going to show you how to join, and it's pretty much going to be joined and then finished. Okay, and while you're offline as well, there's all of these knots here where we change the colors. I just kind of knotted, so you can go ahead and try to weave these in. You can weave it along the base here and have the other one go the other way, or you could just snip them off with your scissors, okay? But that's it. I will see you guys when you have both panels completed and ready to be joined. Okay, my lovelies, so I've gone ahead and completed my second panel here. So as you can see, this is the first one that we did together, okay? And then I went ahead and completed my second piece. I also went ahead and kind of just weaved in, or in this case, I just knotted and then cut off the excess yarn everywhere that I had changed the color and the beginning of our project, okay? And so all I have to do now is just join the two panels, and then we have our project completed. So I had talked about how if you wanted this side that has a solid row of double crochet, you could definitely join it on this side, or in the other choice you would have had is if you wanted your final row here to be in solid, you would have just done double crochets across like I showed you briefly in the last clip. But for me, I'm going to be joining it on this side here, and this is the side I ended just with a row of the mesh without doing the solid double crochet row, okay? So as you can also see, for this second one, I cut the yarn and I left a long tail hanging, so I can use that to join the two panels on one side. And on the other one, I did the same. And so when I place them down for how I'm gonna join them, I actually make sure I have one with this facing the opposite direction than the other, so that I can use the string here to join it inwards and then the string here to join it inwards, okay? All right, so the other next step that you will need to do here is determine what side you want to be your outside and which side is inside. This project is pretty even, so you could probably just throw it on and nobody will know what side is the inside, what side is the outside. But sometimes when you join, you may want the side that looks a little bit ragged or a little bit not the cleanest to be the inside, and in that case you will just flip it to the other side, okay? So for me, I don't bother with that too much with this particular kind of project, because when you join, I'm just gonna flip it to the other side, and or if it looks good on this side, I will just keep it like that. Now you just have to determine the neckline for you. So if you want it to be like a really tight neckline, then you're gonna need to measure how much of the space to leave open, or if you want it to be wider, then you do the same. So just keep in mind, the wider it is, the more it's gonna kind of fall off your shoulders, and then the tighter it is, it's gonna kind of come towards your neck. So that's how you will determine, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna measure and determine what I want for my neckline. When I have that, I'm gonna come back, and in the next clip, we're gonna go ahead and start joining our project, okay? I will see you guys in just a minute. Okay, my lovelies, so I went ahead and just kind of left a gap here, which would be my neckline. And what I did was I just lined up my work very nice and neat like this. And it helps in this case because you can just count these blocks of double crochets together, and then you can go across like this. So I counted 14, about 14 or 13, about 13 across like this, and I put a stitch marker there. And then I did the same on the other side. So that means I have this gap here as my neckline. What I usually do is I start with a big neckline, and then I join, and then I try it on. If this is okay, I leave it like that. If it's not okay, I just come back and I put my needle back, and then I just kind of join more. So this is exactly what I'm gonna do with this project here, okay? So to go ahead and start joining, and this is about 16 inches across here. I think it may be a little bit too big, but I may just go a little bit, like an inch inwards that way and an inch that way. But I don't wanna make that determination yet, because I would like to see when I try it on how it's gonna look. So I'm gonna take my darning needle, I'm gonna put my thread in there. Okay. All right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just line up my work. And when you join, just make sure you're lining it up very even, because you do have stitches here, so you're actually gonna join using the stitches. So this is my double crochet that we began the row with. So on top of that double crochet, I'm gonna grab the last stitch there. Then I'm gonna line it up with the double crochet on the other side. And I'm gonna pull, and I will do that spot one more time just to solidify it. And then I'm gonna line up the stitches, and I'm gonna grab the two next stitches like this and go across. And then I'm gonna go into the next stitches and go across like this. okay? And then I'm gonna grab the next stitches right here and just go across. And then the next stitch is right here, go across, okay? And then I will go ahead and get the next one here, go across. And then at this point, I just line it up across by grabbing the stitches and lining it up like this. And in this way, you don't have to worry about where you're putting your needle. You just kind of line up the stitches and then you just move your sewing all the way across to where the stitch marker is. In my case here, I am going to go past the stitch marker, so I put it here, but I'm gonna actually go to this second double crochet here. So I'm gonna go past this section to here. Okay, you also have an option to go here, which is where the measuring was, but I think I'm just gonna go to here and see, because I want to finish it with this solid area here. Okay, so go ahead and do that. When you reach to there, come back to the video and I will show you how that looks like, and then we can go ahead and do the next for the other side. Do the same for the other side. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Actually, better yet, join to the stitch marker and then leave the hanging yarn long, this yarn here. If there's anything left, leave it there. Don't undo it, just remove your needle, go to the other side, do the same thing, join, and then come back when you have joined both sides. And also just come back when you have tried and determine that that is actually the neckline you're looking for. And then when you have done that, I will come back as well so we can just finish off the video at that moment. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I've gone ahead and joined my project. So this is one side here, okay, and then I went ahead and did the same on the other side. And so what I normally do with this is I just kind of go here and kind of move them out like this a little bit, kind of stretch it so that it can loosen the sewing area so that it's nice and loose. And then I'll do the same on the other side. So I also did kind of go a little bit. I think I went in 2 of these boxes to decrease the neckline. And it was just because I put it on and I could just prefer for it to be a tiny bit smaller. So as you can see, this is the neckline here now. And if we measure this, let me grab my tape measure. And if we measure this from the string here to the string on this side, it is about 13 inches, okay? So I went kind of 4 inches less than what I had, or 3 inches less than what I intended it for it to be. So that is what it is now. So what I will do here is I will just split this here. So what I did here was I just did a slip knot to lock it in. And then I will split the yarn here. And this is before I flip it, because the other side will be the right side, the side that I did not join it from. And so I will do this before I do that. So I'll just bring one of these split yarn to this side like this, and then I'll put the other one onto the other side, and then I will knot it here, and I will knot it a couple of times and then kind of cut it off. So 1, 2, let's do 3. And 3. And if you do weave in your work differently, let's go ahead and do that. It's just because this is very gappy, so weaving it in will probably just end up coming apart, and you don't want strings hanging out of your project. So then I just snip off the excess yarn like that, and that's it. And then I'll do the same on the other side. And this way I can finally flip it to the right side that I'm going to be wearing it from. I'm just going to reduce this yarn here, it's too long. There, and then I'll split whatever is left. Okay. Voila, and then I'll do the same. I'll just bring one on this side, the other one on the other side, and then do the same. Do about 2 to 3 knots, and then I'll cut the excess yarn off. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then that's it. I will cut this off here. There you go. And so now my work is ready to be flipped to the other side. And as you will see, so this is where the side I did not join looks like. Okay, so it's a lot more flatter, a lot more cleaner. And it's the same on this side here, as you can see. Okay, And that's pretty much it. So your shrug is ready to be used. And this is pretty much something that you can wear, as I've shown you in the pictures. You can wear it so that this is where your head comes through, and then this is where your shoulders goes over your shoulders here. Or the other option is to wear it like this. Okay, kind of like a shrug. Oh, it is a shrug, sorry. Kind of like a V, like let's say a triangle shawl in a sense, like this, so that your neckline is gonna have a V in the front and it's gonna have a V in the back, something like that. Okay, so again, the pictures are the best way to show you guys this. So you've seen it in the pictures. I will put some at the end of the video here as well so you can see them. But yeah, this is pretty much the end of the project, you guys. I think I really love the fact that we did these 3 colors like this, because you can see, like, we just lay out the colors in that order like that, and I think that gives it very nice kind of like spring colors, you know, for this shrug. So whenever you want to wear something, a nice long sleeve, if it's not too warm, and then throw this on top, will be really nice. You can complement it with any of these colors. You can wear black underneath, you can wear white underneath, you can wear green underneath, whatever you want to do. Okay, and again, because we did the solid beginning here, these sides are going to stay solid like that. Okay, like that, and then this side just stays like that. All right, anyway, so this is the end of the project here. Thank you so much for watching the video to the end, and I hope you guys will subscribe, comment, like, and also share with your loved ones, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one. Bye.